This is a case study on how we added 20 franchisees and $240,000 plus in annual recurring revenue to a franchise business using cold leads and automated booking systems. The client that we did this for was Fox Mowing and Gardening. And just to give you a little bit of background, they have over 13 years in business. They've got over 70 plus franchisees in Victoria and over 325 franchisees nationally in Australia as a whole. Now, before working with us, they had a pretty typical advertising strategy, relying largely on pay-per-click advertising like Google Ads and also through word-of-mouth referrals. But it was a pretty inconsistent way for them to generate leads, and to generate these leads, they were spending over $100 per lead. And that is a lead, not an appointment, not a franchise sales call, just a lead, which is a name and a number on a sheet. They were then following up with these leads by manually calling and texting them, and often not getting to them fast enough because, let's be real, franchisors have other jobs to do as well besides just contact leads all day. All this to say, leads were slipping through the cracks. They didn't have a clear sales pipeline, and they didn't have a clear way and predictable way to generate sales conversations from cold traffic. Now, after working with us, this is where they're at now. We're currently booking them over 30 franchise sales calls per month. The cost per booked appointment, or the cost per franchise sales call, is down to $80, which is very different from cost per lead. These are actual sales calls that the franchisors are actually having. The system is fully automated, which means they don't have to chase leads at all. And as a result, they've sold 20 franchises in the past 12 months and generated over $240,000 in annual recurring revenue from franchisee fees. Now, this is what their calendar looked like in the first 2 weeks of working with us, and this is all without any sort of paid advertising. Every blue meeting here, besides the ones that you can see as signups, all these small blue meetings here are franchise sales calls that were automatically booked just by reactivating their currently existing list. And since then, we've used paid advertising to add fuel to the fire, and as a result, this is what their calendar looked like in the past 3 weeks. All of these small blue entries are sales calls. All in all, I think there's about 25 to 30 sales calls here. I don't know the exact number, but it's in that range within the last 3 weeks alone. And here is what we built to be able to get them a result like that. We built them a VSL landing page and an online calendar that integrates with their Google Calendar so that interested leads can book directly onto the franchisor's calendar. We also built out SMS and email reminders to keep leads on track for the sales call, to make sure that they don't forget and that they actually show up. We also included pre-call nurture, which is testimonials and other sales assets that we've sent to the leads via email. The purpose of this is to keep them engaged and so that they're not actually losing interest between the time of booking and the time of the call. We then built out pipeline tracking so that the franchisor can see where every lead is at any stage in the sales process, and they know exactly who to follow up with and when. And then finally, we created an AI chatbot that re-engages and no-shows by automatically texting them and finding another time to schedule them in. And now, to feed traffic into this funnel and into our system, we use paid advertising as well. Now, this is what the customer journey looks like from the lead's perspective. A lead will land onto the page. They'll watch a short video sales letter. If they're interested, they'll fill out an application form, which will allow them to book in a time on the franchisor's calendar. And then after this, they'll receive immediate confirmation and reminders, as well as our nurture sequences following up to the meeting as well. And here is an example of what one of those automated reminders looks like. We even prompt the lead to respond to make sure that they confirm their time for the meeting, which also increases the show rate as well. And here's what the pre-call nurture sequence looks like. We send a lead some emails with some sales assets and testimonials, and then we prompt them to open the email, read the sales assets, and watch the testimonials. Now, we have this nurture sequence in place because from the moment a lead books the meeting to the time of the actual call, every minute that passes by, they lose interest slowly. What this nurture sequence does is we keep the lead engaged by showing them what life could look like for them through franchisee testimonials, and also by familiarizing them a little bit with the franchisors and our other video sales assets. All this to say, it increases the chances that someone actually shows up to the call. Now, here is what their pipeline looks like within their CRM. We track every lead by stage. You can see the source of the lead, the status, and you can also see their full conversation history, as well as all of the emails and text reminders that we sent them, or any of their responses to those. And the franchisor's team can collaborate and leave notes on the CRM so that everyone knows who has talked to who and what stage they're at. What we've found is that if someone doesn't show up to the sales call, they might just be a bad lead, or they might genuinely have had a reason why they weren't able to make it and needed to reschedule. Now, what this no-show chatbot does is we engage with the no-show leads through text. Then we offer them new times to book in. And if they're interested and they do want to reschedule, then we'll book them directly into the calendar. And this is totally hands-free, done by AI. This is an example of that. And as you can see, the lead has suggested a time at 10, but it looks like at that time, the franchisor was busy and they didn't have any availability in their calendar. So the AI chatbot offers new time for the lead could book in. The lead chooses a time, and then the AI chatbot locks in the time and updates the appointment down here. This little icon means that the message was sent by an AI chatbot. The whole thing is automatic and doesn't require the franchisor to actually engage with the lead at all. It just automatically reschedules them in if someone didn't show up to the first call. Now, after our first meeting, we push the lead into our showed lead nurture sequence. And what this really is a gentle way to guide leads along the sales process and push them closer towards actually closing. All right, and in terms of how we actually drive traffic into our funnels, we do this in 4 ways. We do this through our opening sequences where we use soft CTAs to push leads towards the landing page. We also do this through email marketing, which is a weekly email blast that we send out to all of the people who have signed up in the past or registered their interest in the franchise. We run paid advertising to push leads directly towards the VSL page, and then we also use lead magnets as well to capture leads who are earlier on in the sales process and nurturing them through email. But also we have a conversion mechanism on the lead magnet, which pushes them towards our video sales letter page as well. So a quick summary would be before, our clients were spending hours chasing leads every week, and now booked meetings show up automatically onto their calendar. And through this system, they've sold 20 franchises in the last year. And now I know I've already showed you this, but this is what their calendar looked like last week. And all of these blue entries are automatically booked franchise sales calls without the franchisor having to do anything at all in order to get these up here. If you had this many franchise sales calls every single week, do you think you'd be able to sell an extra franchise or 2? Because I definitely reckon you would. But of course, once you solve a problem, a new problem always comes to take its place. That's just the nature of business. And so for Fox, they now have an increased franchise appointment volume, which means they've had to hire new office staff to support in admin because they're spending more time on sales calls. And they've also had to hire a new franchise support staff because they need to be able to support the franchisees that they're actually onboarding. All in all, this is the reason why this system has worked for them. The biggest one would be that we're able to generate predictable lead flow from cold audiences. In the past, Fox relied heavily on word of mouth and also pay per click, but these audiences are warm, they're already looking to purchase franchises, and if they're coming in through pay per click, they probably are also looking at purchasing other franchises as well. And now with this system, we've been able to reach people a lot earlier in the buyer journey, which means our clients have been able to sell franchises to people who weren't even necessarily looking to buy franchises in the first place until they came across our advertising. The result of this being they're not wasting any time chasing up leads themselves. They have complete control and visibility of their sales pipeline, and they know where everyone is at every stage. And it's also nice that we work with them on a pay-per-show model, so they're not actually paying for results they don't generate. If you want to see how this could fit your business, you can click below and schedule a time to chat with us. I'll show you how the whole system works, and we can have a chat and see if this could be a good fit for your business as well. Hope you got some value. Have an amazing day.